Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, for those of you who've been geeking out here for a while, you know that the ATF has been going crazy lately. And whether we're talking about forced reset triggers, rare breed triggers, suppressors, silencers, solvent traps, unfinished frames, unfinished receivers, you name it, they are going crazy. But one of the questions that I've been getting most frequently has to deal with the ATF's new rules on stabilizing braces. That's right. Is it an AR pistol or it is a short barrel rifle? So today we're going to spend a few minutes getting better acquainted with ATF's pistol brace scoring sheet. Okay, before we get rolling, you guys know the drill. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button. If you want to stay up to date on issues related to your Second Amendment rights, click that subscribe button. Click the little bell logo if you want to be notified when we post new videos. And most importantly, let's keep the comments and discussions coming. That's how we're going to make sure we're getting our videos out to more lawful and responsible gun owners like yourself. Okay, the spring of 2022, the spring of love, because the ATF has been showing us all sorts of love, promulgating all sorts of new rules, whether it's 364 pages on unfinished frames or receivers, or it's a new rule on stabilizing braces. The ATF is certainly changing the rules once again. Now, a lot of you have had questions like, what exactly does this rule on stabilizing braces work? How does it work? What does it mean to me? Now, I'm going to put the links in the description box down below for all of the documents, so if you want to geek out and read all hundreds and hundreds of pages yourself, please knock yourself out. What I'm going to try to do today, without getting too far into the woods, and we probably will do some more videos and we'll hash out some of the more finer details later on. But what I want to get you all to understand today is a general concept of what the hell does this mean to me? Well, what this really comes down to is if you own an AR pistol, that is a rifle on an AR platform with a barrel length less than 16 inches or an overall length less than 26 inches. If you have a stabilizing brace, or what we call a pistol brace, back in the day up until recently, that would be considered an AR pistol because the firearm is actually designed to be fired with one hand. If we have a firearm with a regular rifle stock on it, then the barrel needs to be at least 16 inches in length, or the overall length of the firearm needs to be more than 26 inches. Otherwise, if we have what's classified as a rifle and it's less than 26 inches, or the barrel is less than 16 inches, what do we have? We have a short barrel rifle. Is that unlawful? No, that's not unlawful. It's not unlawful under Washington state law if you're watching locally, and if you're watching nationally, I don't know what your state is, but so long as the ATF has given us their blessing, so long as you have paid your $200 tax stamp, filled out your Form 1 or Form 4, depending on whether you purchased it or manufactured it, as long as the ATF has given your blessings, there is nothing unlawful about possessing a short barrel rifle. Now, the problem for all of us is what if all of these firearms, these millions and millions of AR pistols that are out there, because this is a very common platform. It's become far more common in recent years. The advent of 300 Blackout, a round kind of design for the AR pistol format, has been huge to the industry. And so there are a lot of lawful and responsible gun owners, people like you and me out there, who own firearms in the AR pistol platform. What would happen if all of a sudden the ATF said, hey, you know what? Those are all short-barreled rifles. Because that is, my friends, exactly what they are trying to do. What does that mean? Well, it would mean that all of us would have to either forfeit our AR pistols or pay our $200 tax stamp, fill out all the appropriate paperwork, and then not use or possess the firearm until the ATF has given us our blessings. And with the current state of the federal government and the ATF being so cooperative with lawful and responsible gun owners, I'm sure we can all think about how fast and how quick that turnaround would be on the paperwork. The form, if you really want to understand what this is all about, it's really simple. You need to take a look at ATF Form 4999. It's really that simple. Do you want to know what the ATF is trying to do? It's right here on 4999. Now, we'll do videos where we'll break it down a little bit more. We did a video with Aaron over at 3 Aces Gun Store last year about it, but this is essentially what it comes down to. Anything in the configuration of that firearm which suggests that the firearm is intended to be shouldered in order to be operated, is going to get you points. And the minute you have 4 or more points, you no longer possess an AR pistol, you possess an SBR. You will have 2 choices: forfeit or surrender, or pay your tax stamp, fill out your Form 1 or Form 4, and wait for ATF blessings. Now, there are several areas that the ATF is going to be using to assess the legality of your firearm. And when we get into how are they going to actually enforce this, we will do a separate video, because right now I'm still trying to figure that out. Candidly, I think right now the ATF is still trying to figure that out. But there are several criteria by which the ATF is going to examine these firearms, however they decide to get their hands on it, and they're going to make determinations. Now, some of the categories include the following. Now, there are some prerequisites that all firearms must meet, and there are points assigned, of course, for not meeting. The prerequisites include the following. The weapon must weigh at least 64 ounces. The weapon must have an overall length between 12 and 26 inches. Weapon must meet both prerequisites in order to proceed to Section 2. So unless the firearm even meets those prerequisites, we're not even going on to Section 2. Now, if we have met those prerequisites, we can go on to Section 2. What sorts of criteria are they going to be judging us on in Section 2? Well, it includes the following: accessory design, rear surface area, adjustability, and stabilizing support. And you can look at the specifics of this, but when we're talking about accessory design, we're talking about accessories that clearly make the firearm intended to be fired from the shoulder. When we're talking about the rear surface area, we're talking about the rear surface area of the stock. Is it designed to be shouldered? Is it designed to be welded, or is it more of your traditional AR pistol? When we're talking about adjustability, adjustability in the stock is oftentimes used for firearms that are being shouldered, not so frequently for firearms being fired with one hand. When we're talking about stabilizing support, and this is really important, foregrips, okay? Any type of foregrip, an angled foregrip, a vertical foregrip, it obviously is meant for a hand number 2 to go to the foregrip area. That clearly is demonstrating that that firearm is being fired with 2 hands. When it's being fired with 2 hands, in all likelihood, the firearm is being shouldered. Now, if you survive Section 2 and still are underneath the 4-point threshold, don't worry, because Section 3 may still get you. The criteria in Section 3 includes length of pull, attachment method, stabilizing brace modifications and configuration, and peripheral accessories. And there is a laundry list of all of those things. Now, I know you're going to have some specific questions, and I will do my very best to answer them in the discussions box down below. But obviously, I think that I'm still trying to figure this out as the ATF is trying to figure it out. The form is ATF Form 4999, okay? It is a 2-point scoring sheet. And again, you will see that the points are assigned. If it falls into this criteria, you get a 0, or you get a 1, or you get a 2. You can even rack up 3 points for certain things. Remember, the magic number is 4. Once you are at 4 or greater, you no longer have an AR pistol. You now have a short barrel rifle. Now, how is this going to be enforced? Are they going to come knocking to your door for every one of you that has an AR pistol and say, hey, we got our Form 4999 here. We'd like to go through your inventory with you? No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think even as crazy as this administration has gotten, I don't think they've gotten that crazy yet. I also don't think that the ATF candidly has the resources to go door to door, and I don't think they have the manpower to do that. But I think we're going to see in this enforcement effort very similar to what we're going to see on the untraceable, unfinished frames, and that is this. Everything that you have in your inventory right now, everything you have in your personal collection, there really is no way for them to know what configuration it is. However, if it has to go to an FFL, and if it is kept overnight and therefore becomes part of the FFL's inventory, I do believe that the ATF is going to perhaps mandate this out of FFLs, that they are going to have to inspect every AR pistol that comes into the shop for repair, and if put into inventory, it's going to be scored, and there may even be an onus placed on FFLs to affirmatively report violations. If you take a look at all of this crazy legislation and rulemaking that's coming out of the ATF now, yes, there is a tremendous burden that's being placed on you, the lawful and responsible gun owner, but that pales in comparison to the burden that's being placed on the FFL industry. The bottom line is, when it comes to stabilizing braces, and again, we'll put the links for all the rules, all the rulemaking, all the comments, all the summaries, everything you need to geek out on this is going to be down below. But the bottom line, if I'm trying to make this as simple as I can, is anything in the configuration of the firearm that suggests that the firearm is meant to be shouldered is going to score points. As soon as you get to 4 points or more, the ATF is going to say that is no longer an AR pistol, that is now a short barrel rifle, and you will be subject to the requirements of the National Firearms Act through ATF registry, through the NFA, a tax stamp, and a Form 1 or Form 4, depending on whether you purchased it or manufactured it yourself. Listen, you may have more questions about Form 4999 or anything else related to your Second Amendment rights, and if you do, don't ever hesitate to contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or, of course, you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. Now, let's remember, part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.